Okay students, this is week 2, short video on hopefully helping you get started. The first one is lesson 3. If you have any problems, come see me in class or send me an email. We're in class Thursdays at 8 to 11. So it says, please see information below. You need to turn in 3 script files, script 1, clock, and slideshow. Begin each script file with semicolon in your name. Okay, script file lessons. So the semicolon is basically a way to put text in it, so that it basically it doesn't actually call out a command. If you forget to do that, it's not the end of the world. It just makes sure when I'm grading, I see the right person. Okay, so what a script file does is it basically automatically creates the commands on the command lines from a notepad file or any other, as long as you can write it, but it's got to be an SCR ASCII file. So all that means is open notepad and save as a .SCR, nothing any fancier than that. If you're at school, you'll want to go to the search icon and type in notepad. I don't know if you can see on the video, but I'm typing notepad, and then just pick the app. You can do that at home too on your laptop. Just make sure you hit the little search icon at the bottom left. Okay, and then that's where you type it all in. Okay, you can use it for a lot of different things: drawing, setup, slideshows, automatic plotting. So basically, you can use it to automatically set up your borders and so forth. Example 3 in your book is a good example of one. So we'll get to writing that in just a second. First, so when you're writing these, what you want to do is you want to try to get my AutoCAD set up so we can see it. Okay, so you want to make sure all these are off. Okay, you could have your grid on, I guess, but make sure your ortho's off. Make sure your snaps are off. Okay, because they can make it, of course, snap to things you don't want it to snap to. All right, this is my laptop at home, so it's got a little border set up there, so I got rid of that. The next thing you need to do is basically tell AutoCAD where you're going to keep those script files so that it will actually be able to use them. So you're going to do that. You're going to right click and hit Options, and it opens up the Options interface. Then you go to the files. Hopefully you're familiar with this a little bit, but it's not as overwhelming as it looks. So we go to the Files tab here, and the location where you're saving it has to be in the support search path directory here. So just expand that with a plus. Okay, and of course it's probably not in there, right? It might be already. I've put several of them in here already. You can tell that it won't necessarily be in there. So we want to do an add. That has to be selected, of course. And then we pick add, and you can see it showing up there. Now you could theoretically just type it, but it's easier to go browse and find it. So then you go find your file folder. So I'm going to put mine LLC. This is where I keep all my files. So you do this wherever you keep it on your laptop, or if you're at school, put on the U drive, CAD 58 folder. Okay. If you're at home, or if you're doing it on the server, then, or VMware, same thing. U drive, CAD 58. Make sure, of course, you have that folder, and just put it in there. All right. So I put all mine in. I think this is lesson 3. So I tell that, and so as you can see, I've got one for lesson 5 already created. Now I'm creating this one, lesson 3, because that's what we're working on. Okay, so it's got that. So now it knows to look there, and then just hit OK. Okay, so you basically just added location for it. And then you basically want to try out all these commands, and then as you try them, add them to Notepad, or sometimes it's even nicer to put them on a piece of paper and then add them, but because you can't see a space in Notepad very well. So like going down a line here or having a space after that will create a return, just like in AutoCAD. If you hit the space or return, it creates another command. And of course, if you have a double return, sometimes it'll either finish the command or it'll repeat the command. So you got to be careful. If you have too many spaces or lines below, it could repeat the last command you did. Some commands, like text, takes two enters or two spaces basically to finish it. Some of them only take one. So it's good to just try it in AutoCAD as you go. Okay, so the example 3 in your book, basically they're going to draw a line from these points, from that point, okay, and that's a absolute point from the origin to this point, okay, and then it wants you to draw a circle on the end of that, okay, 0.15 radius circle with a center point, of course the same as that, okay, and then it's going to trim the line to that circle. Okay, so let's just try this and see how it comes out when we draw it by hand. So if I type in, draw myself a line first, so I hit line, okay, and I hit enter. Okay, so you could actually have it draw the line here too, but we're not going to do that. So we're just going to rotate this thing. So, but you could actually have the line drawing in the script file as well. So it says where to put it. So 4.25 comma 6.5. Okay, enter, and I want to put it at 5.7. Okay, 5 comma 7. Okay, and I'm going to enter to finish it, and I double click my middle mouse button so I can see it there. I'm going to turn my grid off too. Okay, now it says put a circle. So C for circle, and of course I'm going to shift right click since I turned my snaps off and pick center, or I should have picked endpoint. Gotta do it twice since I keep messing it up here. Okay, and the radius of that is 0.15. Okay, and they want you to trim this off. Okay, so this is example 3 from the book. Alright, so I drew that out to begin with, and I'm sure it's going to rotate this thing like a clock hand around there is what they're trying to do. Okay, so now this is a script line, so if we wanted to try it out to begin with, so it would be like rotate. So rotate, you got to type out the command, okay, enter, and then select the object. So W will create a window, okay, so it's like selecting with a window but with the keyboard, okay. So I hit W, okay, it opens up the window. It says specify the first corner, 2.25, so this is where the first corner of your window is going to be, comma 5. And then it says specify the second corner, and 6.259. Okay, 6.25, comma 9. So it's selected basically from right around here to up here, okay, and then of course it got that, alright. If it's, so now it's selected, now they had another enter to finish the rotate command, so enter. Oh, it says specify base point. Okay, so the base point is 4.25 comma 6.5. So you hit enter to finish selecting things. So the base point is 4.25, so that's the very beginning of the line where we started, right? Right there was the beginning of the line. So that's why we're typing in that number, because that'll select that point for the base point, comma 6.5. Okay, and it says the angle, and they tell you to use 45 degrees. Okay, so now it's going to rotate at 45 degrees. Okay, and then the R script just repeats the script command. Okay, so that basically, those commands all worked, and it rotated at 45 degrees. So if you write that down as you go in Notepad. Okay. So I already got this written in Notepad, so I'm going to go grab it here. Oh, I thought it did. Okay, so I created a script file. I got my name on top of the semicolon, so it's going to ignore that. Okay, got all this text typed it in just like I did on the command line. Okay, and then I save it. File save as. Make sure you save it to the correct location that we talked about earlier. That is in your So yours is probably on your U drive unless you're using your desktop. Like I said, week 3, I hope. And we want to save it not as a desktop, not as a .text, but as a .scr. So this is just rotate caps .scr. Save. Okay. Yes. No. I'm gonna save it as rotate 4. It's like I've got some in there already. Okay. Okay. So now it's saved as that. You can just leave it open. All right. Now let's activate it. So we go to script. Type in script. And go get it. See what kind of mistakes I made. Open. Okay, here. So to see all the files, you can't see them if it says .text only, so you want to say all files right here, and then you can see all your script files. So, alright, I added a delay 1000, so that's 1 second it's going to delay between every rotation. Then I added our script, which means repeat script, okay? Remember, if you want to get out of the script, like this one continues to go, you can hit the escape key or the backspace key. It lets you get out of the script. So let's try it again here. So script. Okay, rotate, open. No, I had to have that thing drawn. Okay, I had to undo to get it back to where it was not rotated, so it picked it. So let's try again here. Script. Rotate. Open. So it started happening. So it's a 1 second delay between each 45 degree. And sometimes you gotta wait for it to catch up. It's just starting to work right now. Sometimes the video is a little bit delayed. You can see now it's rotating it continuously every 45 degrees, every 1 second. So that's the basis behind it. So let's see if I got anything else to add. Okay, so like I said, talked about a little bit ago, the delay actually puts some time in it. To do a slideshow, you have to create slides, okay? So vSlide lets you view a slide. Okay, to make a slide, you basically use the mslide command, and what that does is it just takes a snapshot of a drawing, okay, and then you can basically use the vSlide in your command inside your script file to display them. And that's what a slideshow is. Put a delay between them, so you could use it like at a show to show some of the different designs that you've done. It does work for inventor drawings too. So this is like the name of the slide you made. Usually I would try to make it more like the name of the actual file, but it's fine if you want to call it slide 1, slide 2. Now you do need to turn these files into me as well, so I can actually see it work. All right. So if you're doing this from home and not here in the class where you can show me, you do need to turn those in. What else we got in lesson 3? Okay, so what you had to do for this lesson, for the points, is you have to do some example labs out of the book. And this is a minimum. You want to learn a little more about it, or if you're having trouble, do more of them. Okay, so you got to do example 1 from your book in chapter 2. You got to do example 6. Okay. Basically, you're doing a clock. If you modify the clock and make it a little bit more custom, I give you 5 bonus points. Make sure the support drive, of course, like we talked about earlier in the video, make sure the drive is in there. And then you got to do one similar to example 7, but it's going to be your own slides, okay? So you got to create your own slideshow. of at least however, top 4 drawings that you want to use. Okay, and you should all have 4 drawings available on your U drive from other classes or somewhere. That's due this week, and then besides that, you have to do the final lab after you do all of them, which is a little harder. Okay, so you want to go in there and do lab 3. So a lot of the commands will be similar to this gear one. Okay, so if I want to run the if I want to run the gear script file, I'll show you what it does here in a second. So you're going to do this one. Alright, and it walks you through basically writing all this, creating this, but you have a script file that will automatically draw this. Okay, so the best way to do it is to basically write the commands down one line at a time in Notepad as you draw it, and try to keep track of it and troubleshoot it. I don't know. Yeah, you do not have to dimension the drawing. Okay, that's just so you know how to draw it. There is the example, the gear is similar, so like to run the gear script, of course. We type in script. Okay, go get gear, hit open. It takes a little bit to run through all its commands. It should draw a gear. There it did. It's still doing it. Okay, I think. Looks like it has a little error in there somewhere, so I'll have to troubleshoot it. One way to troubleshoot it is to open up F2, which is F2 basically brings up a large command line. Okay, then you can see all the commands and you can figure out what happened. Okay, so where it stopped at, it didn't find any. Okay, so I must have had something set up from the previous drawing incorrectly when I ran a script file. Okay, because if something is set up wrong on a drawing, of course it can mess it up. Alright, so I'll see if I can figure that one out. But so it selected no objects is what happened when it did the window from this point to this point. It didn't get any objects. It missed it somehow. So it's one way to troubleshoot it, F2 command. If you have any problems, let me know. That's the end of the video.